James Harden, the new addition that is a huge veteran, he talked about the key to having a successful playoff run.
Ultra confident and playing with force. I think there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of things that might predict it to go a certain way and then they switch up on you, or whether it's game and runs or whatever the case may be. There's things that happen throughout the course of the game, like I said, or series that you got to you can't be prepared for, but you got to mentally have your mindset to where if anything happens, no matter what happens, you're ready to still play and perform and execute. So I think this team has been dealing with adversity all year long, and it has its phases. You know what I mean? So nothing changes. We go out there, we prepare for game one, figure out what worked, what didn't work, and then move on from there.
So, Chris, in years past, you've been worried about the mindset and the mentality. You've added some guys that have an edge to them. I mean, Harden has an edge to him. Ellis has an edge to him. They have guys that have what you thought you needed at this point in time.
The other thing that these guys have is a readiness for playoff basketball. And I don't know how you quantify that, Dave, but if you go back to everything that has happened in the playoffs, either last year, the year before that, they just weren't ready. They had some guys that were ready for playoff level basketball. The physicality, the intensity, the demand, the mental strain that it takes when you go through these different series. To me, there were legitimate questions coming off the Indiana series about, is DeAndre Hunter ready for that kind of style, that kind of scrutiny, that kind of pressure? Is Darius Garland ready for those same things? Is Evan Mobley ready for those things? And part of it is a mentality, but the other part of it is your game ready to be under that kind of microscope? Is your game ready for that kind of defensive attention? And you know what the Cavs said midway through the season? They said none of these guys are ready for it.
Yeah.
They openly admitted that by going out and making these trades for guys who are ready for that. Was Evan Mobley ready to be Donovan Mitchell's sidekick? The answer was no. Was Darius Garland ready to be Donovan Mitchell's sidekick in a playoff environment? The answer was no. Is James Harden? Yes. That's the difference to me. And the Cavs openly admitted that when they made the trade at the deadline. They said, we've got to find somebody with more maturity, more seasoning, more polish to their game, more readiness for playoff level basketball than what we already have on this roster. And that's the thing about James Harden. James Harden has more than 70 playoff games of experience than the entire Toronto Raptors roster going into this first round series. He's seen a lot. He's not going to be rattled. He's not going to be caught off guard by anything that playoff basketball is. And again, I don't know how you quantify that, but I think you're going to see signs of that coming game one on Saturday, that there's just a different level of experience, a different level of know-how that James Harden has, that Dennis Schroeder has, and it's going to make the Cavs, I think, better equipped for a deep postseason run.